Hello. A major problem happening all around the world today is freshwater scarcity. In many large cities, the stress for drinkable water is huge. One city got very close to hitting day zero, which was Cape Town, Africa. It was on the verge of having less than 13.5% of water storage until the people finally changed the way that they were using their water. The ocean has trillions of gallons of water, and we can change salt water to fresh water. Using desalination machines, we can give water to the people who need it and cut back on the recent growth of the ocean water from global warming. Desalination is relevant because many arid places around the world are scarce on fresh water, and with the ice caps melting, the ocean is rising. The goal is to get fresh water to the cities in more arid climates, get funding for the desalination machines, and keep the ocean levels low. In order to stop cities from hitting day zero, we need to act responsibly and efficiently. The problem is the large cities struggle to preserve water in arid climates or cities with larger populations. A 2014 survey of the world's 500 largest cities estimates that 1 in 4 are in a situation of water stress. In 2019, Sydney, Australia, had level 1 water restrictions, where watering was limited to no more than 15 minutes per station a day and no water runoff during the outdoor watering. Residents were requested to consume just 50 liters per day, which was one-sixth of the average American uses. The same could happen in Southern California and any other largely populated arid climate city. Only 70% of the Earth's surface water, especially drinking water, is not as plentiful as one might think. Only 3% of it is fresh. If the use of salination machines was used, day zero wouldn't have happened in Cape Town, and Sydney wouldn't be as low as they are now. The world is getting warmer and fresh water is getting scarcer. It's important that we get water to the places that are drying up. To help preserve the water, we have to get the funding to use desalination machines for the amount of water needed. The water that we have in reservoirs, we can use black shade balls. The balls will shade and cool the water, reducing evaporation from the reservoir and making it less susceptible to algae, bacterial growth, and chemical reactions that can produce harmful substances. If we defunded 15% of the total military spending, we could have $6 billion for the black shade balls. Each ball being only 36 cents. We could fill hundreds of reservoirs. And lastly, we could reduce the amount of money we spend on subsidizing fossil fuels and agriculture. The military spends around $900 billion a year on military spending. In a podcast with Bernie Sanders, his senior foreign policy advisor, and Mehdi Hassan, they both agreed that military spending deprives Americans of money that could be spent elsewhere. $900 billion also including the defense organizations. We could also get money from fossil fuels that spend $20 billion and $22 billion on agriculture. Yes, with less money, we wouldn't be as safe, but taking 15% of the military, we can definitely spare. The damage that would happen if we didn't act on increasing water from the ocean and getting water to dry climate cities with larger populations would be something we let happen. If we act on moving our focus to produce and preserve water, many people's lives can be saved and be eased. The first hybrid car was made in 2000. People realized that they needed to go green. Now there's electric cars along with the hybrids. That gives more reason to move money from subsidizing fossil fuels to the salination machines. If we moved money from fossil fuels, we can get 3 trillion gallons of water, and if we moved money from agriculture, we can get 4 trillion gallons from there. If we did act on this plan, life would be easier for everyone, and people all around the world would be able to drink clean, safe water. There are a lot of harms from not having enough water for our population. People get sick from dirty water, and many kids die every day from not being able to drink clean water. If we moved money from over-budgeted sources, they shouldn't have an issue if it is to save millions of lives. It's up to us to stop day zero from happening in any other large cities and be able to help other places around the world that just don't have safe water. Actions that could be taken that would make a bigger difference would like becoming a politician, to start a movement, and the same thing could be done if you were to start a charity. Those who have the power to help people should at least try to. A lot of money is needed, and a lot of money can be put to better use. If change doesn't happen in future years, the ocean will overflow, terrain will sink, and there'll be increased earthquakes, causing all kinds of damage all over the world. Defunding and moving that money to methods that conserve and produce fresh water is all that cities have. They will fall apart and Earth will drastically change in time. I understand that defunding our military would decrease our defense to protect us from hostile movements and people, making the US more susceptible to attack. Fear of 9/11 bombs and mass shootings are not easy to stop, and they're actually much harder to predict. The global war on terror is keeping the United States on a global war footing, which has corroded our own democracy. I understand farmers need the money because of seasons and arid land and low income due to the lack of farmable land, on addition the food trade, which has made low income even lower because tariffs on China. Then the tariffs that they did make were 25% on fresh fruits, wine, nuts, pork, and about 100 other products from the US.